This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Hi there, and welcome to Side Quest. It's not the main game, it's the other thing we do in between the main games, where we forego the adventure in the theatre of the mind and have an adventure, I guess, in an actual theatre. Because we're going to be talking about movies to kick us off. But before we kick off, who are the players on the talkie pitch? It's myself, Steve Werrell, it's Robert Bevan, it's R.E. Carr, otherwise known as Rachel. Hiya.
Hello, friends.
And yeah, I wanted to talk about movies because I left the house and watched a movie the other week, and I think that's notable enough to frame an entire fucking podcast around.
I mean, it has been a long time since people have consistently gone out to a theater. It was packed when I went.
Before you guys give me shit about not having watched any of this crap, am I still the only one on this D&D podcast that has seen the D&D movie?
No, I've seen the D&D movie.
Okay.
I haven't seen the D&D movie. We can talk about that if you want. I don't give a shit.
It's amazing. Like, I'm shocked you haven't seen it.
Yeah, me too. I'm not the most motivated. I got out of the house to watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Isn't it streaming now, the D&D movie?
Yeah, but then I have to push a button.
Oh, yeah, a whole button. That is a bridge too far sometimes.
To be fair, it might not be streaming in my country.
Yeah,
that
is fair.
An international access thing, for which I will not be held responsible for. So we're giving a thumbs up to the D&D movie. Are we forgiving Hasbro and their violent assassins they send to Magic the Gathering card thieves? Or
I don't think you need to forgive them to thumbs up the movie. It was a good movie,
because they are different,
whether or not.
Yeah, different production companies.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying it was still a good movie. I mean, regardless of whatever shady shit they're doing.
Okay.
It's not the actor's fault in this case, or like even the producer. Well maybe the
whatever.
producer, but not the writer or director.
I can still understand if you don't want to give them money, fine. But that doesn't take away that it was a good movie.
Go to Bevan's house, and he's got a painting by Hitler above his fireplace. What? It's a good painting.
Well, if it was a good painting, then Hitler would have turned out all right.
That's fair.
Unfortunately, he failed at vegetarianism and painting, so he had to go to his third choice, which was genocide and being an utter dipshit.
Ooh, I've already failed at both of those things.
But you still haven't. Did you have genocide on your to-do list?
No, I wasn't planning to succeed at that, but then I wasn't really planning to succeed at painting and vegetarianism, so who knows how life turns out.
Yeah, so it's not your to-do list.
That's true. Then again, I don't have a to-do list.
By the way, you can't stream it. It's not available in the UK yet, so you are off the hook.
That makes me seem a lot less incompetent, and I've got my finger on the pulse. I just don't pirate things, guys.
Well, this is one you might want to pirate.
It should be Paramount Plus when you guys get that.
I guess I'll watch it. So did you enjoy it? Was it true to the spirit of Dungeons and Dragons?
I would say that, yes, it was, in the best possible way. It wasn't like... They didn't do the meta thing where, at the end the camera pans back and it's a bunch of kids playing, but it was lighthearted and fun, and it felt, I won't say it felt like Willow, but it was the same kind of like fun adventure.
Willow?
That's the movie I thought.
Willow vibe.
Before,
yeah, I liked
before
Willow.
There was a Dungeons and Dragons movie. That's the one I always felt like a Dungeons and Dragons game. To me,
that's true.
Willow.
I can see that. It didn't take itself too seriously, which I don't know if any of you have sat through the 2000 travesty, which boasts
we
the epic
have
line,
on here.
Yeah, it's one of our first at the movies.
Yeah, you gotta have the I am Damodar line. But it's way better than that. like it's light years. It's a different galaxy than the first D&D movie. It has production values and
Does it
characters.
have
And charisma.
Jeremy Irons eating the camera with his massive teeth?
No, they have Hugh Grant eating the camera.
Yeah,
There is not
that's
a
true.
single piece of scenery that man did not chew and spit
I
out and chew
think
again.
they should have just got Jeremy Irons and Hugh Grant the fuck on camera in character. It would be the ultimate Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I shan't be dissuaded from this argument.
No, I can't argue against
No,
that.
that's the Dungeons and Dragons fanfic movie. Get it right.
Well, I think if the fanfic is superior to the original, it is up to the original to step down. Also, Uni the Unicorn is there. He's not involved, I'm not a sicko, but he is distressed. Was Uni the Unicorn in the Dungeons and Dragons movie that's recently been released?
Not that I'm aware of, unless he was in the
There is
background.
there's an Easter egg with the cartoon cast, like in a
Yeah, the
I
other
forgot.
party in the maze
Right.
was the cast, but I didn't
right.
see Uni the Unicorn.
They cheaped out on Uni the Unicorn.
They had mimics and displacer beasts. I was quite pleased.
Not enough money left for a tiny horse.
I kind of missed Mind Flayers.
I don't know. You guys, I was looking forward to seeing this movie, but you guys are just sort
What?
of
Because there's
taking the shine
no
off of it a
bad
bit for me
CGI
now.
unicorn with an annoying voice.
Watching Jeremy Irons fuck Hugh Grant.
If you go in expecting that, you're going to be disappointed.
No, but I'm sure there's fan fiction. Do you want me to find it for you and send it in our dark secret channel?
I can manage, Rachel. I can type one-handed. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm an enabler. I enable my friends.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, everyone should have an enabler friend.
They should.
So I've been looking at the reviews of the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It seems everybody's pleasantly satisfied with it, which is great. Good news. I have heard somebody say it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy-ish in its balance of action and humor.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
that kind of vibe.
The humor with the kind of frenetic action and nobody takes themselves too seriously, and then every once in a while you get an actual emotion and you don't quite know how to
Moment
handle
of
it.
heart. Yeah. I'm really glad that it is, because I didn't have a segue prepared for talking about the movie that I want to talk about. But now
Well,
I do.
It's okay because it does sort of flow in. I mean, both movies actually surpassed what people thought they would at the box office, because Guardians of the Galaxy is one of those creeper movies that didn't actually
Yeah.
drop like Quantum Mania did. So if we go into the whole Phase 5, I have opinions.
I think it has bucked the trend so far for Phase 5, I think. I'm a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan, even without the Marvel Universe. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is basically the modern day Star Wars.
I'm a Guardians of the Galaxy fan in spite of the Marvel Universe.
Well, we all know your opinion on the Marvel Universe.
But I like Guardians of the
Well,
Galaxy.
that's
Well,
good.
Guardians of the Galaxy is different because it always feels like if you watch almost any other Marvel movie, it's like, how many movies do you have to watch before understanding it? Like, it's always so interconnected. Pretty much with Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers and Guardians. That's Oh, and the
Yeah.
Guardians Holiday Special. It's just it. It's very self-contained, and all three movies actually form a coherent trilogy. And as a writer, I was very happy that it told a story from beginning to end. And even if these were the only things with the Guardians, it would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think the entire structural tower that led up to Endgame was masterful and will probably never be repeated. But I do think you can just kind of peel off the Guardians of the Galaxy movies from that and have a grand old time. I noticed in Volume 3 they did have an entire scene where Chris Pratt basically just explained what had happened in the Avengers movies. So you don't really have to see him. You can just watch Chris Pratt.
It has
explain
more
them.
impact, I think, you do. But yeah, it was pretty damn good exposition, which
Yeah.
Marvel hasn't been the best at
No.
lately. No, it James Gunn clearly wants people to actually be able to enjoy his movies as his own movies and not just a link in the Marvel chain link fence.
Yeah, he seems weirdly invested in writing a good movie.
I know.
Fucking idiot.
And now we lost him to DC, so what am I going to have to do? Actually watch a Superman film and not start swearing within 20 minutes of seeing Kevin Costner?
Well, you could still do that.
Well, he might not have Kevin Costner. Then how could I swear?
That would make it hard. You do what you want. The theatre of the mind.
That is true. I do sometimes imagine Kevin Costner when I need to get angry to write something.
Just Kevin Costner stubbornly walking into a hurricane.
Yes, it's like, but you could just, nobody would see. Like, we are not ready for a Man of Steel.
We're talking about,
rant.
a good movie that we enjoyed. Bucking the trend of, because I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, despite the fact that Chris Pratt put a puppy in a wood chipper or whatever it is he did. And, I forgive him for that because the movie's good. Just like...
He didn't put a puppy in a wood chipper. He was just a bit of a weird dick online. Which is...
most of the people online. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, from the reaction, I would have assumed that he kicked a baby into a puppy into a wood chipper, but maybe just been a bit of a weird dick. All right, okay.
No, just a bit creepy evangelical church that hates people he supposedly goes to. So
supposedly, I
think he goes there, but
or shall I just assume he's evil and drowned a puppy in holy water?
No, I haven't had any confirmation of puppy drownings. So.
I think rather than doing that research, I'm probably just going to stop listening to people on Twitter. I don't think they're healthy. But he put up a good performance despite that, personally punching Jesus Christ or whatever he did. And
didn't punch Jesus, sorry.
Well, don't make me fact check it. I will grind this. I will turn this podcast right around.
I can tell you this much. In 10 seconds, I can tell you that Chris Pratt has neither drowned a puppy nor punched Jesus. Like, that has been confirmed.
All right, well, we'll keep the lines open, and if listeners would like to keep a running check on whatever he does, I want to be the first to know.
Yeah, no, he just posted a weird picture with his wife and was a little ableist and a little squicky. That's all.
Was he like in a wheelchair laughing?
No,
what does that mean?
no, because I guess his
puppy
first
in a wheelchair
kid has like a disability, and his second kid with the governor's daughter does not. And
he said, "Ha ha, take that first kid."
Not quite, but it was more of the okay. Here's something I can comment on this because I have a kid with an incurable genetic condition, and one kid who does not.
Hell, this just got dark, didn't it?
Yeah, let's get dark. You want to get dark? There is a certain thing, like, I'm not going to go to my first kid and be like, yeah, you're awesome. Sorry, this kid, was born with no immune system. Fuck that up. But I got one good one, so hey. No, not quite to that level, but just a bit squicky and a bit like, talking about how grateful you were for a healthy kid after having one who isn't is a little bit douchey. It's something I would not do because I wouldn't want my kids to feel like one is inferior to another. And no, one is not, okay? I'm saying that purposely out loud on the internet. But this was a horrible what if because we're talking about Marvel and they have horrible what ifs from time to time. Did that clear it up for you, Steve?
No, I've decided to fact check it. He said, thanked his wife for giving him a gorgeous, healthy daughter, and some people have interpreted that as an indirect insult towards his previous son.
Yes,
I think
that is.
That might be a perfectly normal comment someone might make that somebody might misinterpret.
Yes. It's one of those situational misinterpretation overreactions of Twitter. Those never happen, so This was truly new and shocking.
So I'm going to go back to saying maybe I stopped listening to people on Twitter, or maybe Chris Pratt kicked a puppy into a wood chipper.
There is no proof of wood chipper kicking.
Well, again, I'm going to continue my own research into this now. I'm going to hire a private detective and everything.
Let me know what you find.
But speaking of animal abuse, yes, fucking
segue. Yeah, okay, that was a segue. There is a lot of animal abuse in this movie.
There is, yeah. It's got, I think, what might be my favourite not Guardians of the Galaxy villain.
So,
Marvel villain.
your favorite animal
Because
abuse.
of
My
some of the
favorite animal
sweetest
abuse.
animal abuse. No, a lot of people are very distressed about it. I can see why, but it did help set up like the most hated Marvel villain.
Yes.
I think there is. Thanos may have destroyed half of all living creatures, but he didn't, take a screwdriver to a raccoon. So I don't know. I think the High Evolutionary takes it with an excellent performance by Rachel. You want to give it a go?
You want me to say Chikwudi Iwuji?
Yes, nicely done.
Racist.
I've had two beers and I'm not even going to fucking attempt it. But he was fantastic. Without a doubt, my favourite villain performance.
He really did. Like, I loved him in Peacemaker, and clearly he impressed James Gunn quite a bit.
Yeah, but two very different roles there. I mean, he was
Yeah.
good in Peacemaker as kind of like the cool straight man guy. In this, he's just an unhinged, very mean person. Just a very mean guy. Chris Pratt levels of evil.
No, I'm pretty sure that in the movie, the High Evolutionary did probably put a puppy in a wood chipper. Like, I can safely say that would be in his character.
No, you would definitely, just to find out, whether the puppy would be more efficient as confetti. Yeah, a very evil man. I don't know. It was very good. I'm not going to get too hung up on the performances. Everyone was charming. They're all the characters. We know and love the characters. It reminded me how great it is when people give a shit about actually building sets and doing something cool and original rather than just the standard sort of CGI fill-in bath.
Yeah. I thought there was just such a disconnect and difference because, okay, I have to bring up Quantum Mania. Between Quantum Mania, which was the first, arguably, of the Phase 5 movies, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, both are set in space, both have an incredibly bright color palette, both are a bit cray-cray, but somehow one of them looked cohesive and beautiful and solid and real, and the other one looked like a video game level out of Mario Kart that somebody barfed oil on.
I still haven't watched Quantumania, despite being an Ant-Man fan and liking.
But it doesn't feel like Ant-Man. It's like an Ant-Man movie that doesn't feel like Ant-Man at all. They don't even have Luis. It
looked like just the visuals did it for me. It looked like Shark Boy versus Lava Girl or whatever it was.
That's about the level of CG. So how does the same team that did that make Rocket Raccoon be able to have a close-up in the camera, a completely digital character, and not have Uncanny Valley? That to me was impressive.
That's a really good observation, actually, Rachel. I didn't even think about that. The CGI on Rocket was so good.
You forgot he was...
I forgot he did exist. I thought he was real. Now I'm sad.
Well, they did an amazing job. It's the same as Thanos in Endgame, where you could have a close-up and you could have emotion, and it felt like the fur, the way it moved. But the biggest thing was, the very hardest thing to do in animation is not to have Uncanny Valley. It's why Pixar tries to not make their humans look too human, because it allows you to be able to look at them and not get that freak-out feeling. But Rocket is quite hyper-realistic, and you still don't get that,
That's
creepy... Because they do literal, like, super close-up of his face. And because of the emotion and the music and the way it was shot, I forgot for a few minutes that I'm listening to Bradley Cooper talk over a radio with Sean Gunn in a mocap suit there. And all the actors are just, playing it for filth against that because he's so well done.
What you just described seems less realistic to me somehow than
it actually being a raccoon walking around. Yeah.
It was a gorgeous movie.
It was stunning. And what was weird was I was in a theater with a lot of, young men and teenage boys, and there was a lot of crying. Like, it was your team loses the Super Bowl, or you're at the Grand Canyon levels of Ron Swanson approved crying because
See a
it
single
was so
manly
pure.
tear or
You were
full
allowed.
snotting into the popcorn.
Correct. But yeah, we had to pass some tissues around because I don't think the people were prepared.
I think there was a moment where Rocket Raccoon is like on the verge of dying, and Chris Pratt's really fucking upset about it, which he wouldn't be in real life. He'd probably just stamp on it. But I did feel if I was getting really emotional, thinking, hang on, this is a spaceman talking to his raccoon sidekick. I should not be. It was lovely, yeah.
It was really intense, though. I know the scene you're talking about. It's in the trailer, so we're not like spoiling anything.
Oh yeah, shit! Spoilers.
Yeah, we're not.
Spoilers, listeners. Rocket Raccoon, not a real raccoon.
Yeah,
Listeners and me, I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, sorry, Bevan. I did warn you there's going to be
That's all
some risks to today's episode.
I know.
I'll try not to do like deep plot spoilers. This is all stuff that was in the trailers that we're discussing. And I think it's not unfair to say people know that Rocket Raccoon is voiced by Bradley Cooper and motion captured by Sean Gunn and not a real raccoon on the set.
Well, why don't we ask Bevan about that? Bevan, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't real.
Ah, shit.
So we didn't spoil anything. We're cool.
Oh, I kind of wish I did. I was hoping you did.
Do you know about Santa Claus yet, Bevan?
Shh, don't ruin more things for me.
Yeah.
I want to choose to believe that Bevan believes in magic. That somehow makes me feel better about the universe.
Makes me understand all the shit that happens with my computer.
Yeah. If I believe that Bevan is essentially a magical being, it kind of writes off every single technical difficulty he's ever had. Which means I don't have to think about it. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think I could explain the entire movie in detail and it'd still be worth seeing it. It's such a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, unlike most of what we talk about, I do want to see this
Yeah.
one. I saw the first two and enjoyed them a lot.
If you liked the first two, this is a very fitting end.
Yeah.
Like, it really does tell the story, and it's very character driven. So every writer that I know that has seen the movie has been really happy with it because it kind of syncs to what you want to tell in a good story, as opposed to just, I mean, the set pieces are gorgeous. There is one set piece in this film that's like, yeah, that is awesome. But it's all about the characters. So not only is it an awesome fight, but you feel like you know they have plot armor somewhere in the back of your head, but you don't know who has plot armor because so many of the actors said this was their last Marvel movie.
There was a couple of scenes with a couple of the characters where you thought, uh-oh. And I think they did that a couple. I don't think I got bored of it. It's like 2 or 3 occasions where you thought you were going to lose a major one, at least. But, spoiler alert, Bevan, they all died, actually.
Yeah.
And, soundtrack, as usual, gorgeous. Some
it was
really rocking tunes.
It started with one of my favorite songs from high school, so I was definitely suckered in. And
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
No, mine was Creep by Radiohead.
Right, okay.
That was my jam.
I don't remember that one from the movie.
Yeah, they did the acoustic version. That was the opening song, which James Gunn never, picks a song on accident. You know, you got the Flaming Lips, you've got Florence and the Machine. There was a lot of dark music in there.
It was good. There was a lot.
I heard the Beastie Boys made it.
They did, yeah.
Yep.
The Beastie Boys did make it. It was quite good.
Right, so it was a fun time, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, they say they're going to keep on doing things, but James Gunn is out. I don't know if I'm that interested in seeing more Guardians of the Galaxy 40-minute specials on Netflix. I like the Christmas special, it's fine, but not that invested. Speaking of not being that invested, Rachel, you've got some opinions on Phase 5. How are you feeling about it?
It's very uneven. It has one really, really good movie and one movie that the more I think, the only honest opinion I could give coming out of the theater was that was a movie.
Yeah. I mean, the last one I saw was Doctor Strange 2, which had fun bits because it's Sam
Yeah.
Raimi, but overall was
A bit of a
it was
mess.
a big old mess. Yeah.
That's Phase 4. So of Phase 4,
Was it?
yeah, that's Phase 4. The first movie of
I'm
Phase
so out of
5
touch.
is Quantum Mania, and the
Where does
second movie
Dungeons
is
and
Guardians.
Dragons come into the Marvel universe?
As soon as they can get Chris Pine so that they complete their Infinity Gauntlet of Chris's, and then they will rule the
The
galaxy.
Chrisfinity Gauntlet.
It is the Chrisfinity Gauntlet. They have most of them.
That might be the secret to ruling the certainly the media galaxy. You might have a point there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was just being a prick. Carry on.
But if you're talking about Phase 4, Phase 4 was also really uneven. It had Spider-Man No Way Home, which was...
Again, kind of a mess, but rescued by some very cool bits.
Yeah, it was overall good. Yes, it's definitely better seeing it in the theater because it's got pauses built in for the cheering.
Yeah.
That one was quite good. I love Sam Raimi, so I did enjoy Multiverse of Madness, mess aside. I liked 2/3 of Shang-Chi. It had a toilet flushing CGI fest of a finale, which frustrated me. I wanted to like Wakanda Forever, and I liked a lot of parts of Wakanda Forever, but you could so tell that the writer and director was struck by grief. He had a story already written. He could not tell the story he wanted because of tragedy, and the recovery process was messy. So
yeah. I mean, it seems like it should have been a case of if it was purely empirical, recast the actor. I don't think that was an option. I don't think people would have.
No, I don't think the cast even he was quite beloved. I did get to see some of the filming of Wakanda Forever because it was in my town.
House. Oh, town.
No, it wasn't a house. It was right by my husband's work. It was between there and my house.
I haven't seen Wakanda Forever yet. It could have been filmed in your house. I don't know.
Yeah, it was totally filmed in my house.
Cool. Well,
if you actually watch Wakanda Forever, though, it's like you can just imagine that's a street where I used to walk every day to pick up British accent from a donut shop. So. It's also the same street.
Is that code? Is that some kind of drug code?
No.
Give me a dye bag of British accent.
No, British accent is the nickname for my husband.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well, that makes more sense.
Because he doesn't like
just
his
as
name
much sense
being used online, so I just call him British
fair.
accent.
You call him Donut Shop. No,
Donut Shop is where British accent worked. Now he works at a Starbucks because
you can sell drugs more efficiently that way.
Of course. Yes, I'm sure he would love it.
Excellent. Cool. So, yeah, I gotta admit, I didn't see Wakanda Forever. I didn't really like the look of it. Again, it just had that kind of...
It had an absolutely gorgeous villain. I mean, he Tena Huerta is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man. We were all trying not to ogle, but he was in tiny shorts on screen.
No, Namor. In fact, if anything, the film Namor is way more dressed than comic book Namor.
That is, yeah, it is a comic book accurate costume as far as the tightness. But no, I mean, he was actually good in the movie, but there was it suffered from the worst parts of Marvel where they try to shoe in 14 other lead-ins to other stories. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy is so successful, because pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy, the post-credit scenes, just talk about the Guardians or are a funny joke payoff, or they're just sort of all cohesive.
Yeah, I remember at the end of Doctor Strange 2, there's an end of credit scene where somebody just steps through a portal and goes, "It's me."
That's Clea.
And he's like, "Okay,
I knew who that
Clea.
was.
I don't give a shit. I don't know who that is. It's just some woman's come out of a portal and then he has his eye boner opens up, and I don't know. I don't know what the significance of it is, and I don't care.
Yeah, you'd have to follow. It's not quite as bad as seeing horrible CGI Pip the Troll in Eternals. Oh, Eternals was also in Phase 4. That was a movie. That goes in my Quantum Mania. That was a movie pile.
I'm not even sure if it was.
It was a movie.
I think as we go into the future, people will be less certain that it was a movie, and it might just fade from all human memory quite quickly.
It was just one of those things that would have been so much better as a Disney Plus series. I'll say of Phase 4, the Disney Plus series overall were more cohesive and enjoyable than the movies.
Yeah, I wonder if that was some sort of juggling act on those because of COVID. I wonder if
I
there's
think so.
things that were supposed to be movies and things that were supposed to be series, and they just kind of...
I mean, Loki was quite good. Hawkeye was the shock because that was the one I'm like, this is going to be it. No, it's actually enjoyable.
There's not a single Marvel series on Disney that couldn't have benefited from being, I think, half as long.
I don't know. Loki was probably the tightest of them, but
yeah, but even that, I thought
it was a bit talky.
Mm.
But I like talky, and I like watching Tom Hiddleston. But we're going into a lot of phase 4. I think after having such a big, strong narrative arc leading up to the Infinity Saga, when you had Infinity War and Endgame that were such a good culmination, it was so well set up. I think this was sort of the messy afterwards side story trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what things stick. I mean, there's also Black Widow in there. Which
seemed kind of unnecessary. What we needed was a Black Widow movie before Endgame.
It should have been before Civil War, honestly.
I would have accepted a flashback movie between
We had Captain Marvel. We had a flashback movie between Infinity War and Endgame.
I'm saying it was the wrong one, Rachel.
That's fine. I actually like Captain Marvel more in rewatching it. It holds up better than some of the others. It still has lame villain syndrome. No offense, Jude Law, but you were a lame villain.
Well, he seemed like a really low stakes villain.
He just... There's the Marvel Universe has a villain problem, which another thing, Guardians of the Galaxy is the one that doesn't, because most of the drama is actually the interpersonal conflict. So it doesn't matter. In the case of
the, High Evolutionary, that was a good...
He was super duper strong. I can't say any more because Bevan hasn't seen it and I don't want to spoil, but there was a lot to him.
Spoiler alert, Bevan. Not a nice guy.
Yeah, not a nice guy. Ego was pretty good too. I mean, Kurt Russell was a delight as a just scuzzy deadbeat dad.
Who's also a planet, yeah. That was good. I thought, like, Ego the Living Planet, I thought, there's some fucking deep dive Marvel trivia for anyone.
Yeah. I was happy because they even had, like, the cover, the stereotypical shot where you can sort of see the grin and the eyes on the topography of the planet when they panned out to it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was clever. You know what? If there was just a phase of Marvel that was just mostly Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I'd take that. But I appreciate them not kind of like overblowing their load, I suppose.
Well, maybe they're the reason why the Guardians movies are the best is of all of them, none of them were rushed. I mean, yes, part of it was because James Gunn was fired due to Twitter, another reason to hate it, and had to come back, and then COVID happened, so the movie script for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was written before Avengers Infinity War was finished.
Yeah, it did feel like they had to, like, again, that Chris Pratt exposition was kind of like, we had a movie, then all the fucking Endgame happened because I made a bad joke on Twitter 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is enough to derail rich and powerful people for reasons I still don't understand. But, that makes sense.
It was always planned to be Rocket's story for the third one.
Yeah, it's cool. I guess my moral takeaway from it is I can't wait for that weird South African guy to destroy Twitter. I think it'll be good for movies, be good for me. Okay, I'm trying to lever in a destroying Twitter segue into the next segment. Speaking of Chris Pratt ruining things, the Mario movie.
He ruined the Mario movie.
No, he doesn't. I know. It's what I've got, Rachel.
I'm so sorry. I'm ruining. Do you want me to go back to?
You're ruining the segue. You are the Chris Pratt of segues.
Yeah, I lost my cool and made you have to work for it.
Well, I refuse to do any more effort into that segue. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. We're now talking about the Mario movie. Bevan, have you seen the Mario movie?
No, but I would like to.
Why have you not seen it? Have you got something against Italians?
Well, there's that. But also, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I told you I saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie. The last movie I saw before that was like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something.
You're right. You've seen a movie.
In a movie theater.
Ask more of you this financial quarter.
That's true.
I
did my part.
You did your part. Rachel, lay out the Mario movie. How did you feel about it?
I plan on seeing it next week.
Oh my god, you guys haven't seen the Mario movie?
I've had a bunch of people tell me about it. So I know all about it. Mario's in it.
Yeah, it is the most Mario movie. I'll tell you what, have you ever just kind of just had a hangover and watched your kids play Mario-related video games for about 5 hours, but you were kind of half asleep, and then you just kind of remember it in flashes because it's a really bad hangover? That's kind of how the movie's structured. It's just like they've squeezed all the Mario into a movie. Some dialogue happens, but it's very much cookie cutter, kind of how easily can we translate this into 200 languages kind of dialogue. And it is just an excellent receptacle of just getting as much Mario into an experience as possible. And I think that's really all it needs to be.
I think that's what I want out of a Mario movie.
Yeah.
That is what I want out of Mario. Nobody plays the Mario games for the story. That's like playing a Zelda game for the story. Let's be real. We play it for the adventure and the mechanics.
Yeah. I just like walking around with a knife, hurting animals. But
I don't want to bring up the D&D movie again because it's the only movie I've seen. But I think there are comparisons to be made there because there was this recent iteration, and then there was the one from the 2000 era.
You're right.
Same with Mario,
2000 era,
which was garbage.
The original Mario is one of my all-time guilty pleasures.
Oh my god, there's a few people got as guilty pleasures. I can understand liking it if you want to watch a weird movie and you're a bit high and you want an existential crisis.
I watched it stone cold sober.
Oh, the last time I did that was at the movies. I had an experience so cursed the recording broke, and I don't think you can find that. I think you can find it on a Patreon, but it's very broken. I think Rick's commentary dips in and out because the movie is cursed, not because of anything to do with my competence.
It has Dennis Hopper and John Leguizamo. It's not that cursed.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Bob Hoskins too.
They were
Bob
cursed.
Hoskins, yeah.
That's
who apparently spent the entire experience getting wasted with Luigi.
Yeah, that was John Leguizamo.
You'd have to.
No, not the actor, actual Luigi.
I think that's how they got through it.
Yeah, an odd choice, but it was the first video game movie. I mean, what are you going to do?
It almost became the last video game movie.
You've played Super Mario Brothers 1 or 2, and somebody's like, yeah, we need to make a movie out of this. You're what? How do I explain any of the shit that's going on here? And the secret of the most current Mario movie is they don't try to explain anything. Yeah. You just give the people what they want. If they start asking questions, you say, wrong movie, fucko. And you send them next door to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So I think they've solved video game movies now. It's been a rocky road.
Well, I think Last of Us did the first prestige art house video game adaptation.
Yeah. But that's a pretty easy one to adapt, isn't it? It's like the Silent Hill movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Silent Hill movie's probably in between, because that's still very much a video game at the time. It was a pretty good adaptation into a moody horror. Resident Evil, I would say, was lesser successful. They had later iterations in that tried to be more like the video game, but became lesser movies, whereas Silent Hill stuck a good balance of being like the video game, but also a comprehensive, atmospheric, well-made movie. But now they're just saying, let's just put the video game on the screen. And that seems to be working for people, whether it be the Mario movie or The Last of Us.
Zelda could be a good mix. Just wacky stuff and have a story.
I don't know, man. Link's been around for about 30 years now, and all he's ever said is, "Ah!"
Yeah, would be a weird thing. Like, how would you give him dialogue in the movie?
Link is like, no, I don't want him to have dialogue. Link is a stone cold, fearless psychopath. Segue, we're going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, of which I have played 5 minutes, or of which I've watched 5 minutes of being played at my sister's, and immediately bought the game.
It is amazing.
I saw it at Costco today, but I did not buy
Oh,
it.
God. I just want to explain the whole psychopath thing. Within the first, 10 minutes of gameplay, you get to a jumping platform where Link is about 100 feet in the air, and there's nothing below him but death, and you put him off the edge, and he jumps. He doesn't even scream. He's just like, I don't give a shit what happens to me. I am a fucking sociopath at this point.
I might have gotten a slightly different reading off of him, but that's the gist of it.
No, all he's dead for 30 years is angry screaming. The man's an invincible, insatiable murderer. And that's why I like him.
I think he might just be mute.
No, I just think he's angry.
Well, I mean, every time he rescues the princess, she gets kidnapped again, and I'm starting to think she might be having an affair with Ganon. I mean, he is pretty swole in this movie. It's like, or video game.
He keeps getting a little bit swole. He's got a very good evil vibe, but he is a ginger, so...
Yeah, and then he has no soul.
Yeah.
Swole without soul.
Well, that's why he wants the Triforce.
To make him not ginger?
Well, no, so he can be ginger and have a soul.
Is that really the power of the Triforce? I think that might be just a bridge too far.
Well...
That's what was in Marcellus Wallace's briefcase.
A ginger's soul. Or the Triforce.
The Triforce.
Oh, I see. So,
I did
sorry,
hear
Rachel.
that
Are you saying that the Triforce can create an entire parallel dimension of darkness and light, but it cannot give a single ginger man a soul? That is beyond its power.
Maybe.
Well, no, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, everyone's favorite psychopath is back. It's Link.
Hero. Team Hero.
I think this game gives you more opportunity to be a psychopath than Breath of
it
the
does
Wild.
with all the building stuff. Like, I've discovered rockets and spikes.
I haven't even got that far into it.
You can put rockets on your arrows and shoot them at bad guys and make them explode. It's wonderful.
Link fucking loves that.
Oh, it's beyond the pale awesome. The exploding rocket. There's also like a gotcha machine where you can just put in a Zonai charge and it will give you random components. I mean, it's like Minecraft levels of being able to build shit. You can make flying cars, you can make mine carts that go on tracks like you're at Disney. I
think if Link was capable of making a happy noise, he would.
Makes happy noises. He actually, when he's cooking, he sings little Zelda tunes. It's like,
oh my god,
he does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when you do the cooking, he will sing previous Zelda songs and make happy noises when the food comes out, because the way to a hero's heart is through his stomach.
He doesn't just scream at the food, then.
No, he does not just scream at the food.
I'm not sure I'm happy with this break from character, actually.
Just try it. Just go to a cook pot. Throw in 4 apples and a spicy pepper so that you can climb up into the cold areas, because apparently 1 hot pepper is enough to save you from frostbite in the Zeldaverse.
Probably not the least realistic thing in the game.
Probably not. Gingers having souls. We've already established that.
We've already established that. It's not
I mean, you can get a rubber suit for Link in this game. I've already gotten a piece of it.
Finally, Gimp suit.
I haven't seen the helmet to confirm if it's a Gimp suit, but he does have rubber armor. Let's go.
Just get a ball gag in him.
Because there's all these fucking electric likes that want to eat you, and they suck. And they take your armor and your weapons. And yeah, armor and the weapons break even faster in this game. So be prepared for a lot of spraying. There's even an in-universe explanation.
They want me to drop out of society for 6 months. Is that the explanation?
Possibly, or the decay that spread from Hyrule Castle has made all weapons rotten to the core.
Oh man. You know what? I watched 5 minutes of this game. I immediately bought it. When the first upgrade they give you is you have the power to play Legos with everything. in
Yes.
Hyrule.
You basically get Lego powers.
I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I can't play this game. I've bought it, but I think I'm going to just say, like, the kids can play it and I can watch.
Now we're back to Chris Pratt.
That's what he really did to get banned off Twitter. He won't play his own video games. He makes his kids do it.
I'm sure I don't want to have to.
I was talking about the Lego.
Oh. Yeah, he was in the Lego movie, wasn't he? We mock
There we
Chris
go.
Pratt, but how many billions of dollars has his movies made? I mean, the Jurassic
he's-
Park movies were horrible, the new ones, but they made billions with a B. Mario made $1 billion. Guardians of the Galaxy's made $500 million in 2 weeks. It's made more than Quantum Mania made in its entire run in 2 weeks.
Well, that's a good move. They could have got anyone to voice the Mario cast, to be fair. I think we were saying about this, I was a bit dubious about all of them. They were okay. Jack Black, better than I expected. That kind of worked for what they were doing with the character. But the rest of them is like, you could have swapped. Even Charlie Day, you could have swapped out Luigi with anyone. It would have been fine. But, no, it was fine. They did the ridiculous Mario voice at the beginning just to give us a taste of that. I still think, I don't know. It's like I think they should commit to that and just did it for the entire movie. But I don't know if that would have been insufferable and weird.
I'm pretty sure, just knowing experiments I've done with my own children of annoying them, you can last for about 5 minutes of a Mario voice before you're sick of it.
I can last for about 5 minutes, full stop. But yeah, that sounds reasonable. Again, I think that's why there's not a Legend of Zelda movie, like just Link just screaming in people's faces.
He
Funny
does
for
make
about 5
happy
minutes.
noises too.
But even that, just making a happy noise after he's just been violently screaming.
I mean,
No one's going to feel safe.
Conan the Barbarian, doesn't Conan himself have
That's a
like
good
10
point, yeah.
He has only 10 minutes of dialogue in
He
the
says
whole
nothing.
movie.
Nobody
Yeah.
trusted his accent back then. Maybe that's
Yep.
maybe we just need to make Link a 6'6" Olympian bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not right. I want Charlie Day as Link. And I don't want him to say much. I just want him to do screaming.
Knowing our luck, we just get Chris Pratt as Link because apparently
gotta
he's
be
who you
Chris Pratt,
cast in everything.
That'd be great if it was animated and they got Chris Pratt to do the voiceover and he didn't actually say anything. It was just...
It's just the grunts of Chris Pratt.
Yeah. That worked for Groot.
I do wonder, though, with James Gunn going over to DC, because a lot of the actors he works with just love working with him. If any of the Marvel actors are going to hop over, like Michael Rooker did in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they all stuck up for him during his Twitter unpleasantness, which I appreciated.
Yeah, all of them did. Because maybe a person changed in 12 years after some stupid tweet that they did for shock value and apologized.
Yeah. Or maybe if, you're a comedy writer working from Trauma, you're going to tweet some dicey, stupid shit. And we can just maybe accept that.
No, whatever you say, you must be tortured forever. There is no forgiveness ever. Not in
Speaking
Twitter.
of no forgiveness forever,
Yeah?
Rachel, how are you getting on with Tears of the Kingdom? Should I start playing this? Is it going to destroy my life?
You should start playing it. Be prepared to swear profusely in the shrines, just as in Breath of the Wild. There are some of them that are evil, and the interface is not the most intuitive. We ended up actually getting one of the controllers that kind of looks like an old, looks like kind of a chonky PlayStation controller.
The Pro controller.
Yeah, the Pro controller,
Yeah.
because you cannot play it on the Switch. Like, it's
No.
really hard. And it's just the number of times you're going to get yourself killed by accidentally whistling for your horse instead of using a skill.
The horse just comes over and punches you in the face.
No, it's just that the whistle attracts all the enemies to you in the area. And
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that.
this is not a game where you can actually, like, because the weapons break so easily and they're so weak, like, you really have to use the mechanics. It is not a get a big sword, be invincible, because even if you have a really big, powerful one, it's going to break in, like, 3 minutes.
I know. I mean, Breath of the Wild is really expansive and immersive. but they were a
This is
little bit more
bigger.
merciful with things like, because they're like, there's 150 dungeons, but they're nice little dungeons.
They are. I will say these shrines are nice little shrines. They're not.
Well, apparently they're bringing back big dungeons
They
as
do
well.
have a few. I haven't gotten to any of the temples yet, which is the big one. Like the tutorial is 5 fucking hours.
Yeah.
They have to teach the mechanics, or there's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of building, and there's almost every fight you can either try to fight it if you're really good, or you can think your way around and out it, because almost everything, at least in the open world, is bypassable. Like you see a whole bunch of mobs, you can build a flying car and fly over them and sneak past them that way.
I like that about Breath of the Wild, that you'd see, oh no, there's a big group of enemies down there. I'll just roll a boulder onto them.
Yes, you can still do that. Funny. You can roll the boulder, reverse time, and roll the boulder over them again.
Just to really ruin their day.
Some of them take more than one boulder. I'm not kidding. Like, seriously, there's this one place where they roll a big spiked ball, and you can roll it over and over again. It takes a few hits, and then you can take that weapon and fuse it to your stick, and then take the ball and smack them over the head with it.
Nice.
Is very nice.
It seems like it's really leaned into the factors that made the first game even more playable than it would have been if you were just following the completionist shit, like doing the shrines and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's so dangerous. And what a time they've released it just before summer, when it might be nice to go outside.
Yeah, but it's hot and sticky, and there's mosquitoes, so this is an alternative to that. No, I mean, it really, we joke, it's like, oh, Eurogamer only gave it a 4.5 out of 5, but it's a really good game. The fact that it runs so well on an almost 10-year-old system that wasn't even the best. I mean, it's a system that's less powerful than the average phone.
Yeah.
But
well, I like that about
Nintendo.
They kind of like, every console they've done recently has been some iteration of novelty, which has either quietly went away or kind of changed the way we think about gaming, which is cool, but the Switch doesn't really have the muscle, I guess, to run this. I've noticed that, like, if you get on top of a tree top and look around, it slows down a little bit.
There's a little bit, but overall, it's not a lot of crash. It's not like Redfall. That was an abject disaster that Microsoft could not afford but got anyway. It's not like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where random crashing or accidentally opening the wrong postcard would delete your account. Yeah, that happened. I have luckily completed my Pokédex in Pokemon, so I am that level of nerd.
That is lucky.
But it's solid because it's a kind of game. The best thing about it is it's the sort of game you can either lose yourself in for hours, or you can just play a little bit and put it down, because you're not like, oh my god, is there going to be a 20-minute cutscene?
I've said this about every single Zelda game there's ever been. Because there's not like a massive graphical step up between Breath of the Wild and this. But
no, it's almost identical to Breath of the Wild.
I played A Link to the Past with my daughter. And
that is a beautiful game.
Said there, it's like, if they just doubled the size of this game, I'd play it all through again. If they just like released a little patch for it, even if it was all just still 16-bit graphics, said the game's now a third bigger. There's light world, dark world, and slightly dim world. I'd play all the way through it again. Yeah. And it's been like that with every single Zelda game. So when Breath of the Wild I finished out, I just thought, if they could just release another Breath of the Wild.
Which is pretty much what they've done. It's Breath of the Wild plus Lego.
Yeah, it's the Majora's Mask of the Switch generation. Yeah, and I'm all here for it.
No time time loops, which were kind of fun, but
is it infused with an implacable sense of melancholy?
Yes, there is a lot of melancholy.
Yeah, like that about Majora's Mask. I like to beat the shit out of an animal and then think about death for a bit.
I think you're projecting onto Chris Pratt now. That is my official theory.
Chris Pratt as Link. Watch him beat the shit out of an animal. And then
unless it's a chicken, because they will fuck you up in Zelda. Do not attack the chickens.
I'm glad they've been consistent with that, with chicken being the most lethal animal in the legend.
Oh, there's a whole pen of them right towards the beginning, and we knew better. We're like, oh, no. You will not fool us again.
No.
No,
Learn
no,
my lesson
no.
about that.
No. I see a chicken, I run. Giant mob, bigger than me, I might give it a go. But a chicken, nope.
Throw
I've
a chicken
learned.
at it. Again, Link to the Past is like, oh no, look at this tough baddie. Still not as tough as a chicken.
Never.
Or a hornet.
Oh, they do have, you can get hornets' nests, but I'm still looking to how to make a net. So
That was always fun. Just using a bow to drop a hornet's nest on a bunch of moblins.
They are weak. They actually do say in the compendium they are weak against hornets.
Well, if you drop a hornet's nest on someone, they're going to be weak against hornets. That's not like a failing. I'm weak against hornets.
It was funny. I actually was in a walk in the park, and a hornet went up my pants and decided to sting me in a very uncomfortable place.
Well,
and
that's
thus,
because you're weak against hornets.
I'm weak against hornets, clearly. But there's nothing worse than having to drop your pants in a public park because you have a hornet in a very uncomfortable place that you have to get out.
I tried that. No one believed the hornet story, Rachel.
I was fine until the jogger came by.
But Steve, the secret is always keep a dead hornet in your pocket.
Yes, that is your secret. If you want to drop your pants in a public park, keep a dead hornet with you.
Well, I like to think we've all learned something today from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, the last one I played was Ocarina of Time.
Oh, that's great. You haven't played Majora's Mask?
No.
It's Ocarina of Time, but a lot more palpable melancholy.
You
I realize that
say
probably didn't sell
palpable
it.
melancholy, don't you?
Well, sometimes I just latch onto a phrase.
It's okay. I think it's awesome.
Palpable melancholy.
Is that going to be the name of this side quest?
Grunge band. No, all right, yeah, side quest.
Chris Pratt's palpable melancholy.
Professor Chris Pratt's palpable melancholy puppy kicking machine.
That sounds like a horrible Wes Anderson movie gone awry.
Marvel Phase 6. For the win.
I'm looking forward to Marvel Phase 6.
I don't know. I think I might be done with Marvel movies now. I think I might be done with everything because I'm just going to play Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
until they find
you
my
might
skeleton.
You might be lost to that.
Yeah, probably. Oh well. Maybe I'll stream it. Maybe I'll stream my dropping out of society, sitting there eating takeaway cold pizza while I learn how to cook imaginary food, traversing the rolling hill and dale in the Zelda world while the landscape resides just outside my window. I don't know, maybe this is like an ironic art piece I can do.
Or you could just take your Switch outside and enjoy a beautiful landscape in a beautiful landscape.
No.
But that would be ironic.
It would, but again, I think I've said the phrase palpable melancholy too many times, and it has affected the entire tone of this podcast.
I don't know. Do you feel palpable melancholy, Bevan?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
there
see? We have been infected with the palpable melancholy.
All right, Bevan, we've talked about a lot of media. We talked about a lot of melancholy. What are you looking forward to see? Do you think you'll see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Absolutely.
Do you think you'll see the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yes.
Do you think you'll play Breath of the Wild 2? It's not called that. Tears of the Kingdom in your garage.
I think I'll watch my son play.
Yeah, I think that's the safest way to do it. I think I'll do that too.
I mean, most of the jumpy stuff, I let British accent play. I do the puzzles. We sort of spread the labor.
Teamwork.
It's how we get it done in this house.
Do you think you'd watch Chris Pratt kick a puppy to death?
No.
Absolutely.
Because I'm a pacifist. I hate it. I was one of the people deeply wounded by Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm lucky
Rachel,
that it was
a CGI
wonderful.
puppy. It's not a real one. Obviously,
I don't want to see a CGI puppy get hurt. I don't want to see any puppies get hurt, says the person who put kittens in a blender in her books. But
I'm glad you added it in your book. I'm usually a pacifist, except for that one time where I made a kitten smoothie.
Have a bad day.
It was a bad day.
Okay. Well, you know what? I watched a movie. I left the house. It was good. I'm looking forward to Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to watch that.
As soon as it streams in the UK?
Yeah. which I hope they do that before I start playing this game. Or, you've lost me. And podcast listeners, if I should disappear for 6 months...
He's feeling palpable melancholy while playing
please send
Tears
someone
of the
around
Kingdom.
to the wherever I'm living, because the neighbours have not noticed the smell yet. So, thank you in advance for your assistance in that matter.
Okay, I have to play the hell out of this game because next month the game I'm looking forward to comes out.
Oh?
So, yes, Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I don't know. I stopped paying attention to that after it was like not turn-based sprites anymore. Is it still going?
It is still going, and it's going to be an action RPG done by the same fight coordinator as Devil May Cry 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It looks pretty intense.
There are 6 Devil May Cries. Fucking
yes,
hell.
there are 6 Devil May Cries.
Yeah, I'm all about the turn-based sprites as well.
Yeah, turn-based
Final
sprites.
Fantasy VII is where I stopped.
See, that was
I don't need
the
to
first
watch
Final Fantasy
7-hour
I played.
cutscenes.
So I think it's a generational
That was the last
thing.
one I played.
If I want to watch extremely effeminate Asian men hang out doing
Which, by the
wacky
way,
moves, I would just
I
watch
do.
K-pop. It's fine.
You can like both K-pop and Final Fantasy. It's not an either
I'm
or
a
thing.
busy man, Rachel.
Okay, fine.
One
Go
or the
back
other.
to your
Thank
melancholy.
you. I shall.
See, I did that yesterday. I went for took the family out for Korean fried chicken, and on all the monitors there, it was just K-pop everywhere. So
Did you look at those people and say, I wish I could see them in a turn-based combat scenario?
no, I said I'm really hungry. I wish they'd bring the chicken out.
Because
Wow.
Korean fried chicken is an absolute good. I think we can all agree on that.
Both valid
it's good.
responses.
Worth the wait.
Did you imagine the chefs in the kitchen as sprites in a turn-based combat scenario?
No,
No.
but I will next time.
Well,
I guess I will too. Anything, because now all I want is friggin' Korean fried chicken. Thanks, Bevan. Actually, no, seriously, thanks. I'm going to make some.
That's a great idea. And if you're listening at home, feel free to make your own Korean fried chicken. I can't stop you.
It's really good.
If you haven't watched any of those movies, why don't you go and watch them? Leave the house.
They're also really good.
Or if you don't want to leave the house, buy Tears of the Kingdom. And we'll never see you again.
Probably not.
But if we do, we'll see you next time on whatever it is we're doing. Goodbye.
Bye, friends.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to those who created it, which is us, the people you just heard play the game. Opening and closing themes performed by the Gore Core 4.
Authors and Dragons!